Yeah, it's a WWE Money in the Bank post show. We watched Money in the Bank. It was in London. It's the event that they did this year with the ladders. Let's talk about it, shall we?
Start.
That was the ladder that they did.
In the streets, so don't stop out. In the streets, so don't stop out. DJs,
Yes, indeed. It was that time on the WWE calendar where they say, how about some ladders? And that's what we did. We watched the ladders. Is Johnny there? Oh, there's no Johnny.
Can you hear me at least?
I can hear you. I don't see you.
Johnny, where?
Okay.
I think that's a technical issue. I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't see you, but I will get you there
I do
in
exist.
a minute. You exist. Johnny North, I swear, is here. You can hear him. There he is.
There we go.
There he is.
I guess somebody forgot to click.
Yeah.
Let's show Johnny's face. I think there was just a button that needed to be pushed. It just got pushed. We are here. We are ready. We watched Money in the Bank. It was a hot crowd in London, England this afternoon. Shout out to everybody tuning in on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and all the things. Although if you're on Twitter, good luck. I think that thing is cooked. I think Elon botched up Twitter. Twitter's been botchamania all day. Tweets not loading. You could get like 600 tweets, and then once you hit that, you can't read any more tweets. Twitter's been bugging big time all day. Elon's trying to fix it, but he's failing. He's failing miserably like he would in an MMA fight. But we're not here to talk about Twitter and Elon's dumbass. We're here to talk about the wrestling that we watch, the money and the banks and the winners of the cases. Roman Reigns, just to give you a recap of what happened, Roman Reigns got pinned in the main event. First time the Tribal Chief takes a pinfall in 3 years, over 3 years. Have not seen Roman get his shoulders pinned to the mat in quite some time, and it was his cousin Jey Uso getting the 1-2-3 over Roman in the main event. Usos beat Roman and Solo in the Bloodline Civil War tag team match. We're going to break all these matches down. Seth Rollins, just before that, defended the World Heavyweight Championship over Finn Balor, hitting the curb stomp to get the pin. Are you hearing that thunder outside, John? It's not Thursday night. It's not WCW. That's real thunder coming from the sky. And Johnny looked over, and I think he heard the same thunder we heard here in the city of Montreal. We're a couple kilometers away here, John, but I think we're hearing the same things from the sky, right? It's not EO. It's thunder.
If we go off the air out of nowhere, you know why.
Yeah, if our show shuts
That's
down
correct.
or glitches or I get hit by lightning, you understand what happened.
Act of God.
Act of God. JBL. Anyways, Io Sky won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match over Bayley, Becky, Trish, Zelina, and Zoe Stark. So Io is the Miss Money in the Bank. Cody Rhodes beat Dominic Mysterio in just under 9 minutes. It was pretty uneventful. Gunther got the win over Matt Riddle in just under 8 minutes. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez became the new women's tag team champions, two-time champs, with a win over Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Shayna turning on Ronda in the match inexplicably. And in the opener, it was Damian Priest coming off a little bit of an upset here. LA Knight was a favorite. Logan Paul was the second favorite. Damian Priest, we gave the betting odds last night when we previewed this show. He was the third favorite, so he was in the mix, but still not favored to win, and he did come out, I think it was plus 200. He comes out the winner of the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match that opened the show. I thought it was fantastic, and I will start us off right off the bat. I thought that was my match of the night. I thought they started with the best match. Wow. I thought we had some decent stuff along the way. I thought the Women's Money in the Bank was pretty good. I thought the main event started slow but did pick up. I thought the last 10-15 minutes were good. I didn't love the first 10-15 minutes. Pretty damn slow, especially when we're over the 3-hour mark. You know, when they're starting off slow, just kind of staring at each other, doing that mime wrestling where they're just, it's not my favorite stuff. It took a while to get started, but once the ref bumped, the match got interesting. So I thought that was all right, but it loses points because of the slow start and how long it was. I really think that they could have got to the point a little bit shorter. the fact that this pay-per-view went 3:30, 3:40, I would prefer this show end in 3 hours. Nice, neat and tidy, 3 to 6, but it went over that, and it was unnecessary. They showed an Edge video package after the Seth Finn match before the main event, and I was like, man, are we ever going to get to the point? And Roman's entrance, of course, took forever, and it took them forever to actually wrestle because they were just staring at each other for a long, long time. So I got kind of bored. I got kind of bored, and I got a little disinterested, and I was impatient because the show had been running for so long that I was losing interest. You can't keep my interest for more than 3 hours for a wrestling show. It's very, very difficult, and if you're going to do it, you're going to have to deliver some jam-packed action. It's going to have to be really exciting, and when, Roman and his cousins are just kind of staring at each other, it's a little boring for me. I mean, they're handsome and all, but doesn't do much for me. But so my match of the night was the opener. I thought the men's Money in the Bank absolutely killed it. I thought we had some great stuff, great spots. The crowd was so hot for LA Knight. Logan Paul had his moments. LA pushed Logan and Ricochet off the top of the ladder. They landed. They tried to land standing on the top rope, but Logan kind of stumbled, and then Ricochet managed to grab him and fix it and do the Spanish fly off the top rope through 2 tables outside the ring. Like, it was mind-blowing. That spot was crazy. Logan almost messed it up, almost hurt himself real bad, and like you said, yeah, it was very dangerous. But Ricochet, is he hurt? Is he okay? Because Ricochet managed, he was bleeding, yeah, but I don't know if he's like injured. Sometimes you get cut, but it's not like, it's a Band-Aid, it's maybe a stitch or two, but it's not, a broken neck, which was possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in a moment like that, it's like, oh, are they dead? Are they okay? And Ricochet managed to make it work, but good God, it was a scary, scary spot. Damian Priest tossing Butch off the top of the ladder, and then Butch kind of hit another ladder on the fall down. Like, that was a nasty bump that Butch took, and it seemed just kind of a throwaway bump towards the end of the match, but it was really rough. LA Knight climbed to the top of the ladder, and the crowd was going nuts. It looked like he was going to win. Damian Priest, though, grabs him, suplexes him off the ladder, down to the floor, to the mat, and Priest climbs the ladder, grabs the briefcase, and Damian Priest becomes a Money in the Bank winner. I thought the match was great. I thought the crowd was great, and I thought the finish was interesting, different, not what we were expecting. Really suckered us into thinking LA Knight was about to win, and then when Damian Priest took it, the crowd was shocked, but not outraged, not disappointed. I think the crowd would have been disappointed had Logan Paul won. They really didn't want to see Logan win. I think a lot of people didn't want to see Logan win. And the fact that LA Knight didn't win was a bummer, but at least it wasn't Logan. I think it was anyone but Logan. The crowd really wanted LA Knight, but Damian Priest was a good consolation prize. I had no problems with Damian Priest winning that thing. He's a hell of a talent. This is his time. He's never been hotter in the WWE than he is right now. I get it. He's got the whole thing now with Finn and cashing in on Seth, and there's stuff to do there. So I'm good with it, and that's my match of the night, the opener, the ladder match.
I am inclined to agree. It had the most action, had great pace, and the crowd was really invested into it. I loved the finish. I loved how they did all the spots of someone for LA Knight, of someone who wins these matches. He's the guy that pushes the 2 guys off the ladder and takes them out, and sometimes that's the victory. And then they came back, but then he fought them off again. He was so resilient. And they even had the camera angle.
Yeah.
They had the camera shot.
The winner shot.
Where he was and then he started struggling with the briefcase, and I was like, oh no. And then up comes Damian Priest, and then he takes the spotlight. I thought that was really well done. I like it going forward. I not worried, that's a strong word, but was this the peak of LA Knight? Should they have struck when the iron's hot? Is it never gonna get back up to this? And
Maybe.
is that a is that a bad thing, or And will he not be taking us seriously? Or it's one of those things you got to ask. Sometimes
that's a legit concern.
Because the crowd was so hot for him, and if they start to believe he's just there to disappoint us, then they'll start to lose his credibility.
It is hard to imagine him getting any hotter than he was tonight. Like, that crowd was bananas for him, like he was stone cold in 98.
Like, if they want to ride this to the Rumble or something, presumably.
Yeah.
That's a long time for him to be, like, chasing and not succeeding.
I don't know.
I
don't know what they're going to do with LA Knight. This was definitely a big moment for him, but he didn't get the briefcase. So we'll see, what they do. Obviously, they've got a star on their hands. Whether or not they capitalize on it, anybody's guess. It's the WWE. We've seen them fail to capitalize on big stars before.
For sure.
But, it was really cool to see how over LA Knight is. I really like LA Knight. I'm a big fan. I hope that he can get something out of this. I hope it's not just this night, this match, and, it kind of fizzles
out. He's another Cesaro.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't fizzle out.
But I liked it. My match of the night.
It was my match of the night, too. Yeah. So, John, what do you think, match of the night?
Well, I hate to go completely against you guys, but I really didn't like the men's ladder match. I actually thought the women's ladder match was better
John
than
with
the
the
men's
hot takes.
Yeah. My problem with the men's, like, they definitely had some great action, no doubt about it, but a lot of that match didn't make any sense whatsoever. That Ricochet spot you guys are talking about. If you're trying to win a match, why, after you just got pushed off a ladder, why would you take somebody and try to put him through a table, you and the other guy through the table, while the other guy just pushed you, when you're going to take yourself out of the match that you're trying to win?
Yeah.
That made absolutely no sense. And Ricochet did this twice in the match. He did the whole dive through the outside, and LA Knight's just in the ring. Oh, I can just climb and win the match. Like, Ricochet was the dumbest guy I've ever seen in this match, ever. Why is he in this match?
Wow.
I mean,
like, I've never seen a guy who just doesn't want to win. He just wants to hurt people. That's all he was there for.
Well,
and it's cool. He does
he's
cool
trying to
stuff.
do cool
There's
spots.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
of course. But you're trying to win a match, and it completely threw me out of this match. It was like, oh, we're just doing cool stuff, which is nice, but we're not trying to win a match, obviously.
Well,
so
okay. He didn't like the psychology. I get that.
That
makes sense.
There is usually a guy in a ladder on these multi-man ladder matches who's there to facilitate the OMG spots.
Yeah.
Like a Shelton Benjamin, where like he's probably not going to win, but he's there to just be like, I'm crazy, I'm going to do the dive.
Yeah.
And then he's out, or like when Jeff Hardy dove on Edge at WrestleMania 23 and took them both out of the match.
But he wants,
because he just goes.
But I get what John is saying. Like, make it make sense. If you're going to do a high risk move, make sure there's not a guy in the ring about to win the match while you're doing it, which it does make sense.
Fair.
I was so distracted by the ridiculous spot that I didn't even realize like people were trying to win the match. I was like, is Logan Paul dead? Got my attention.
Well, that also too, like, that was extremely dangerous. Like, they shouldn't have done that. When they realized that was kind of flimsy when they were on the ropes, they should have just like bailed out of that one, because Logan landed right on his head. That could have been seriously, and like you said, broken neck. That could have been really bad.
Yeah,
like,
could have died. Could have died.
Like, whoever booked that match, like, should be like yelling at Ricochet, saying like, "What the heck is your problem?" Like, you almost killed the top star in the match.
Well, he also pulled off the move and kind of saved the botched spot that Logan screwed up. Logan was supposed to land with his feet on the top of the ropes. He did not.
Right.
Ricochet did. Logan didn't. And in that moment, he exposed himself, Logan Paul. He's not really a wrestler. Because in that moment, not only did he screw up, but he couldn't recover. Like, he couldn't find his footing, and he panicked. There was a panic there, and Ricochet had to get hold of him, take control of the situation, and fix it. And Logan Paul needed Ricochet in that moment. Otherwise, Logan Paul's just going to get off the rope and walk away and look confused, and then you blow everything. Like, okay, it was a dangerous move, but he also saved Logan Paul from looking like a complete doofus. Because he screwed up there big time, not landing on the top rope. And he looked out of place in this match, Logan Paul. Like, the other guys are pretty proficient pro wrestlers. They know what they're doing. They're seasoned. They move well. They do the right things. They're in the right places. Logan Paul, he was kind of a passenger in the match. He looked a little lost at times. There's a lot going on. He's not really a wrestler. He's not used to all that action. And it was apparent to me that he was a little out of his element there. I thought he looked a little shaky. Because the other guys are such wrestlers, Like, they're real deal pro wrestlers. Ricochet, Escobar,
LA Knight,
Damian Priest. Like, they've all been around. They all know what they're doing. Most of those guys are in their 40s. They've been wrestling for a long time. Like, I was doing the math.
Yeah.
I was looking at this. LA Knight is 40. Damian Priest, I think, is 39. Damian Priest is 40. Ricochet is 34. He's younger. Santos is 39. Like, all these guys are kind of older. Shinsuke's 43 years old. LA Knight is 40 years old. Like, most of these guys have been wrestling for 15, 20 years. Logan Paul was the youngest guy in the match and also the most inexperienced when it comes to pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked a little not great. It was not his best performance in WWE. I think the one-on-one match that could be rehearsed, where there's less elements that could go wrong, because you get a ladder match, you get 7 guys in there, things could go wrong. You have a one-on-one match with one other man, it's a little bit more of a controlled environment, and this time we saw him in a less controlled environment, and he stuck out a bit to me.
Yeah, he was looks like he was waiting more for his spots.
Yeah.
Like the frog splash or like a little knockout punch. Like he wasn't really involved in like the group kind of things.
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, now here I could just be alone.
My turn
and have
to
my
do a
one
move.
thing with Ricochet.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna roll out of the ring.
Yep. It was like, okay,
Right.
here's my turn to do a thing, and then I come in, and yeah, he wasn't really in the match. Like I said, he was a passenger. The other guys were running the show. I liked it.
Well,
The crowd was so
That
hot for
was
LA
another-
Knight, man. And when LA went up there and he didn't get it, and then Damian dropped him off, that was a good finish. You didn't like that finish?
finish was all right. Yeah, I had no problem with the finish. It's just I thought in terms of like storytelling, the women told a better story. I was more involved in what they were telling, with the whole like factions against each other, and then like they're against their enemies and they team up against each other, and then Damage Control is against each other now, or are they together? There was better storytelling with the women than the men. The men was just, let's just do a bunch of cool stuff, which was fine.
Yeah.
But the women actually, like, and it built great with Becky and Trish, and you had Becky and Bayley. Like, the build was so much better with the women. They structured their match much better.
There was more of a story, but I thought the bigger crashes and the crazier spots were in the men's match. And maybe that's what I was looking for today. You know? I don't know.
Well,
Depends on
the way
the
I
mood.
looked at it too. Yeah,
Go ahead, John.
depends, but just like I was more impressed too with someone who'd never been in a ladder match, Trish, and what she was able to do in that match.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was like, because I thought that this is going to be an absolute mess with Trish in the match, but she actually helped the match more than hurt the match. I actually felt like for women's ladder matches, it may have been the best women's ladder match we've ever seen.
It was
pretty
it
good.
was quite good. I did like it.
I was impressed with Zoe Stark. I thought she had a good showing. She was involved in a lot of the
Yep.
spots. She got to use her physicality. She looked like bigger than a lot of the other ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And that sunset flip power bomb that she took from Zelina,
Oh,
that might have been the nastiest
Not a code
spot. Then
not a code red. Yes, exactly. They called it a code red, but it was a sunset flip powerbomb.
like that might have
Off
been-
the top of a ladder onto another ladder, Zelina Vega on Zoe Starks, which was the bump of the match.
Yeah.
Maybe bump of the night.
Yeah, because it's like she looked like she got
Although-
her head caught in like
Yeah, but
between the rungs.
That Ricochet Logan Paul thing was
But that was kind of
disgusting.
like a botched recovery. Like this
Yeah.
was
That
like
was
a planned
disgusting,
spot.
yeah.
I mean, like they're up there. Those are the two ones. But that's a
planned
star
spot, but also
Yeah.
half a botch because I think it was supposed to be a code red, but she was only able to get the power bomb.
I don't know how she could have made that. Like,
Me neither.
no offense, like there's no way she could have done that. Like,
No, it would have been
she's
death.
okay, but she's not that good.
I mean, it would have been crazy to do. It would have been really rough for Zoe to take a code red. I'm glad it was a sunset flip power bomb. Nevertheless, it was a hell of a spot. It was a hell of a match. And I thought the finish of that one was really good, too. Io got knocked off the top of the ladder. Bayley knocked her off. But then later on in the match, Becky and Bayley were trying to climb the ladder, and Io got handcuffs that were brought out by Trish and Zoe earlier in the match. and Io handcuffed Bayley and Becky together on, like they were both in the ladder, so their hands were in the ladder. They were stuck, and then Io climbed over Bayley, grabbed the briefcase, and Io Sky wins the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women. I thought that match was fantastic, but I still think the men's match was my favorite this afternoon. Was the women's Money in the Bank your favorite? What's your match of the night? I don't think you gave us one. I know Antoinette thought it was. Antoinette, who's been a member of the team for 29 months. Shout out to Antoinette. She went over to join.ringsidereport.net 29 months ago and is sticking with us because once you join, you never leave. Matthew Henley knows about that. Shout out to Matthew. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis. Antoinette, I'm seeing a lot of the members checking in. A lot of non-members as well. Ryan, Christopsy. But Antoinette says match of the night was the Usos and Roman. Of course, she's a big Roman fan. It was fun. Was that your match of the night, John? What was your number one?
Yeah, I'd say that the Roman Solo Usos match, like, not only was match of the night, but that's like a match of the year candidate right there. That was that good.
Whoa!
I thought
what?
it was fantastic.
The tag team match?
Were we
really
watching the
thought-
same match?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. Like, in terms of a wrestling match, for a main event wrestling match, that's everything you want in a match right there. The crowd was into every little thing, and they milked every little thing, and dramatic finish.
Slow.
I thought it was beautiful.
Slow.
That was exactly what wrestling needs to be.
No. We like different wrestling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, this is Randy Orton fan Johnny North over here. This was like a Randy pace, slow.
It was.
And like explosive finish.
Yeah. And,
Very good finish.
I thought, like I said, I thought the match was good after the ref bump. But before the ref bump, jeez. It took a long, long time to step into a second gear. I was a little over it. Once the ref bumped, I was like, all right, we're going to get to something here. And things, Usos hit the 1D on Roman. They had him pinned, but the ref wasn't there. I was like, oh, maybe that's the chance. That's the chance they have to pin Roman. They're not going to do it now. Then Roman hit the spear on Jay while Solo spiked him. I thought it was over. And then Roman's like, go get the other Jimmy, get Jimmy so we could stack him. And then Roman stacks him. And the ref, revives 1, 2, but they kick out. The Usos kicked out of the stack pin. That was a surprising little false finish. They had some good false finishes there. And then Roman's face looking all dejected, like, what do I have to do? And Solo's like, come on, let's, punch them in the face some more. Let's just keep beating them up. And Roman's like, yeah, okay, Solo. You saw there. Solo's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there were cool moments in that match. And in that moment, it was like, oh, Solo is leading, not Roman. Solo is the tribal chief. Solo went to splash Jimmy through the announce table, but Jimmy moved and Solo crashed through the announce table. Roman then speared Jey Uso back in the ring, but Jey kicked out at 2. Kicked out of the spear, did Jey Uso. And then Usos hit a double super kick on Roman. Jey went to the top rope, splashed him 1, 2, 3 on Roman Reigns. They pinned their cuz, and the Usos beat Roman and Solo in the main event. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I like the other match better. I wouldn't say it was match of the year, though.
Yeah, I mean...
Did you not feel that it started a little slow? But you like that. You like to start slow and kind of build up. I mean, it did build, but it just started maybe too slow for me. Like, it didn't have there wasn't a lot of fire at the beginning. It was just a lot of looking at each other.
Well, the way I look at it, the crowd was so hot that you had to let it slowly build up because the crowd was mainly taking over the whole match. So you got to let them get everything out of their system first. Let them eat it all in. And there was some great chants back and forth. London was fantastic. It's London, Montreal right now, I think, in terms of the best WWE crowds we've had. And obviously biased because I was there in Montreal, but I imagine a lot of people who were there live are going to say, like, that main event doesn't matter, like, in terms of, like, what was the best moves and all that, just that atmosphere that probably made it the best match.
I want to know what your best match was. What is the match of the night? Ray Cruz saying the men's Money in the Bank match was his favorite. That was our favorite here, the Simon Brothers super team, Mario and Luigi over here. That's what we picked. Ho ho! Yippee! And Antoinette had the main event. Johnny North going with that one as well. What was your match of the night? Let me know in the chat. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Give me your match of the night. And give me your score on 10 of this pay-per-view. What are you giving this whole thing on 10? I thought we had some good matches, but I also thought we had some not so good matches. Like, we've talked about the good stuff, right? We've talked about the Money in the Bank matches. They were both good. The main event was good. And then there were other things that happened on the show. So overall, because of the other things, I'm giving this pay-per-view a 7. 7 on 10. It was good, but it wasn't perfect, and we were definitely missing some stuff to give it a higher grade. I'm going to go with a 7. What did I give Forbidden Door? Like an 8.5?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was Forbidden Door was much better than this.
I think I gave Forbidden Door like a 7.5.
Okay.
So if that's the metric, then I got to give this like a 6.
Oh, your metric is whatever you decide on the day.
Because I definitely enjoyed Forbidden Door a lot more.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about match of the year candidates, Kenny and Ospreay was. I've been watching highlights from that match. I rarely watch highlights from matches I've watched.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that match again. It was so good.
And
I don't like watching matches twice because I see enough wrestling. I don't want to watch a match again that I just saw, but I would go there with that. Kenny and Ospreay, good God.
And just one little note that took away a bit for me from the Roman match. It's purely aesthetic, but like maybe I'm just used to seeing these guys being a team for so long, but everyone kind of having the red and black attire and attacking each other. I got a little confused.
Yeah, couldn't the Usos wear a different color? Like, couldn't they wear a neon green or something? I know they're family, but like, man, they all look the same and they're all dressed the same. Just the look of the match was, I didn't love it either. I know what you mean. It was like, they're all dressed, they got red and black, and they all look the same, and they all have the same tattoos. It's like, too samey. It was just like everybody's, it's just the same guy fighting each other 4 different times.
But I like this, like, it's more same in tag matches. Unlike the women's tag, it's like everyone just dresses in their own colors. Everyone's different. There's no tag team unity. It's just we're all our own individuals.
Yeah,
like I like at least this. It's like we're a faction. We're teams.
But the opponents look the same.
Have the same colors. Yeah, well, because of family, again, it works. Civil War. It made sense.
Civil War.
Well, I mean, in the U.S. Civil War, they wore different colors to tell each other apart.
Yeah.
John.
They did. But this wasn't the American Civil War. This is like Avengers Civil War, where it's
like
we have our
Syrian
colors.
The Avengers. Yeah. This isn't like a real Civil War people are fighting. This is like when Iron Man and Captain America were having troubles.
Exactly.
Is that what happened?
That was no. They wore their costumes, but like they didn't have new costumes.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the Avengers.
No, they didn't change their colors. They have the same colors. Their colors. Yeah,
but I'm saying like, but they don't have color coordinated stuff anyways. Like Iron Man doesn't anyway. But like. The Usos and the when they're part of their blood, they wore their bloodline clothes. They couldn't wear anything just like slightly different to help change. Like a home and away team in sports.
Sometimes
they're not
going to
wear the same shade, so you can't tell them apart.
How come the Usos couldn't wear white? They used to wear white sometimes, like white pants.
Yeah, Mania, didn't they?
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I feel like at Mania that was a special thing. That's why they don't.
So this wasn't special.
Oh, it took away from it. It took away like. When I see like Jay and Roman attack each other and both their hair is flying, and I'm just like, which one's which again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know who they are, but
I know, but
it was a little too same. I didn't love the outfits, but whatever.
It's aesthetic.
I'm giving this pay-per-view a 7. You're giving it a what? 6?
6.
Ray Cruz giving it a 6.5. Ryan Katz giving it a 7.5. Antoinette giving it an 8. Says she loved it. John, what do you think? Score on 10?
Yeah, I'd go 7.5. I mean, there was a lot of good. Unfortunately, there was a bit of bad, and the bad really hurt the score, sadly. So
a bit.
7.5. Yeah,
a lot of bad.
Shall we dive into the bad?
Yeah. So here's some bad shit that happened. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez beat Shayna and Ronda when Shayna attacked Ronda for no reason. There was no miscommunication during the match. There was nothing leading into this that gave you any indication that Shayna and Ronda weren't getting along. Just at some point during the match that was going fine. It was a regular match. Liv and Raquel versus Ronda and Shayna. It was a regular match. Nothing out of the ordinary. All of a sudden, Ronda's in the ring and Shayna's like, meh, and she starts attacking Ronda and beats her up. and then Liv and Raquel are like looking and all shocked, and then they hit their finishers and they pin Ronda and become new tag team champions. A month, May 29th, was when Shayna and Ronda became tag team champions. Just over a month later, they are no longer tag team champions, and their tag team is over. Very short run, very short-lived. Why? Is Ronda going away for a while? Are they trying to do Ronda versus Shayna for no reason? Do they need Ronda in the main event program for the title? Like, what the hell was that? It's not like the match was good either, and the finish was awful. What the hell just happened?
Disappeared again. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. But
I can hear you.
It's like a seance. I feel your spirit in the room.
What the hell just happened?
we got thunder and lightning going on, so technical difficulties happen.
Zeus.
Sadly.
I don't understand why that happened. That's weird.
But like, I mean, I could almost give you Shayna's promo on Friday if you'll indulge me. Like, I am sick and tired of Ronda being called the baddest on the planet, and then there's just Shayna. I'm tired of being just Shayna. I want to be number one, which is how every single damn tag team breaks up nowadays. Of just like one guy's like, I'm tired of carrying your bags. I want to be my own man. Like, I call it primetime player syndrome. Like, they just break up teams for the same reason and for no, like, and it's no reason when they should have kept them together. Like, there's no reason for Shayna and Ronda. Like, Shayna on her own, trying to be all like, I'm the real tough one, is just going to flounder. She'll just become a jobber instantly.
There's no point. There's no point.
Well, the point was just to shock people. That's it. That's all.
It's not even that shocking. It's annoying.
Yeah, it doesn't didn't shock me.
It disappointed me.
Why? Why did they do that?
Because what's Shayna going to do? Why did
we have all these turns? Remember, like in WCW, that's what it felt like. Like someone tweeted to us, I think it's Acme Tunes. It's like, this felt like Vince Russo. And it definitely felt like Vince Russo. We just do stuff like this where it's like, oh, a turn for the sake of the turn. No one would see it coming. And I think that was it is bad. It's really bad. And that's what killed a lot of WCW right there, was just turns for the sake of just turning. And this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because they were just starting Ronda. And they just unified their tag titles.
Yeah.
And this was their first big defense. And then, that's it. It's over.
They even had a video package about like how great friends they are and how cool Ronda is and how she's so happy Shayna's with her and all that. It's so weird.
Again, if it was like a hint of like,
it made no sense.
Something
was there?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't anything. It's just just to shock us. That's it.
Yeah, man. It was just like, oh, that's a surprise, and it's like, okay, but if it's a surprise that makes no sense and comes out of nowhere, it's not actually good. It's just like, why? Why did you do that? Could you not have done that? Because it would have made more sense had you not done that, and Ronda and Shayna just won.
Mm-hmm. And keep going. Instead of we're going to get a promo about how Shayna's tired of Ronda hogging the spotlight.
Tired of being in your shadow. Yeah. I was wrestling first, Ronda. It's
exactly.
Not fair.
What about Jessamine? You're not supporting her.
I mean, it's just lame, you know? It's just a lame, lazy story that is unnecessary, especially this early in the game of having them together. I feel like they were just getting started, and now it's over and will probably never be done again because... how do you do it again when Shayna just beat up Ronda? I mean, I guess you could have a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn scenario down the road, but it'll take a while. It'll take a while to get there when we were just there. And now we go back to Liv and Raquel. And it's not like we had to take the belts off Shayna and Ronda because we got big plans for Liv and Raquel. Who the fuck are Liv and Raquel going to feud against? There's nobody to feud against in that stupid division. It's a joke. It's like, well, we got to get Liv and Raquel geared up for the next big heel tag team. What big heel tag team? You mean Ronda and Shayna? You just broke up? What's the division? Who do Liv and Raquel even face now after this? Who's the other tag team? Oh, wait. Who is the other? Chelsea and fucking Sonya? How many matches can we watch between Chelsea and Sonya and Liv and Raquel? Blech.
That was the worst promo this year. Was that
maybe Trish? Maybe Trish and Zoe. Maybe Trish. Maybe Trish and Zoe as a heel tag team. Maybe if we're lucky. But Trish and Becky aren't done. So
And damage
See, this
control's
is
got their own
probably-
thing.
Damage control's breaking up, like Bailey, screwed EO out of the Money in the Bank, and then EO screwed Bailey out of the Money in the Bank, so they're not on great terms. There are no tag teams. You took the belts off two legit wrestlers, a real tag team, to put it on Liv and Raquel for no reason other than, whoa, didn't see that coming, did you? Well, no, but shit. I wouldn't see Triple H lighting himself on fire coming either, but I don't want to see it. It's unnecessary. Yeah, I'm on fire. I mean, I don't need to see that. I mean, it would be funny.
It'd be a surprise.
I would prefer that over what Shayna did to Ronda, but still,
Yeah,
Well,
just for nothing.
The worst part about this, though, is the fact that no one really got over in this. Like, you didn't make new tag team champions. Just like, oh, well, we got rid of this super team that nobody could beat, so they had to beat themselves. And then the team that just happened to be there picked up the scraps. So Liv and Raquel didn't really get over because they just were given a victory pretty much. And now we just went through this whole like, oh, Ronda and Shayna are dominant, and now it's just, well, we're done with that out of nowhere. It's over. So in terms of like making the women's tag team division, this actually devalues the women's tag team division.
yeah.
Because there's
right,
no
pal.
strong champions. Yeah, Vince was right.
There it is. Gone. They don't care about tag teams. They don't care about tag team wrestling on the men's side, and they really don't care about tag team wrestling on the women's side. That is painfully clear, yet we still have to watch this stuff. Like it's still on their show, but they don't pay attention to it, and they don't give it any real thought, and there's nothing behind it. Matthew Henley wants to call in. You can call in if you want to. If you're a member of the team, if your name is in green on the chat, you can call in and talk to us during the show. Should work. We haven't had a caller in a bit, but if you want to give us a call, I think it should work. We've been having a couple technical issues tonight, but I think we'll be all right. Yeah, so that was really stupid, and it's going to lead to nothing for no reason. Seth and Finn, I didn't think was great.
They
It
wrestled
happened.
too much. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Too many matches. So now it's just a whatever match.
Damian Priest coming out to tease a cash-in was a highlight of the match. It was like, oh, is he? And then he didn't. And then he kind of argued with Finn afterwards, and that was it.
A little
It
dysentery
was
in
a
the
Raw
ranks.
main event.
Yeah, it was a Raw main event. 12 and a half minutes was what it was. Nothing special. Not terrible, but also not pay-per-view quality for a world title match. Like, Seth is supposed to be this fighting champion, and he's going to be champion for da-da-da. It's like, all right, well, your first match was weak. Yeah, I don't know how you call. I don't know if you unmute or whatever, Matthew. I've never called into the show, so I would assume you unmute if you want to be on, and I could bring you on at some point. Maybe. Do we have a caller on? Let me see. Let's see. Is there anybody there? Say something to me, caller. Are you there?
Dave,
Oh, there you go. I think I hear somebody. Do you hear somebody, John?
I
how
heard
are
something.
you?
I did.
Oh, there you go. Is this Matthew?
You hear?
Kind of.
Yeah,
I heard Ken
and here.
and here. Matthew, are you there?
Can you hear?
I don't know. I think your line is a little choppy. There's something disconnecting there. Maybe it's the internet. Maybe it's the lightning and thunder outside, right? Are we hearing Matthew? I'm not hearing Matthew. I heard you for a second there, Matthew, but I lost you. Matthew going once? Going twice?
I want to try to reconnect.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that was our issue. I think that might have been like an internet issue on his end,
It
because
happens.
it goes through the internet. So if you're not in a zone where you got your full bars on your phone or whatever, it might not work.
It might be a little choppy.
Especially with this weather that we're having out there. I'm not surprised.
But
Hopefully we can get Matthew
yeah.
back on, though.
that was definitely a raw quality main event. Just like very by the numbers. Honestly, most of the match was people going, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's like most of what I took from that match.
A lot of singing. I mean, the British fans, they love the singing.
But like nothing
Let's
else
see.
was happening.
Matthew, are you there? Matthew called in. I'd like to get him on. Doesn't sound like it. Nope. Oh, well. We'll try again later or tomorrow. Another day. Okay. Yeah. Seth and Finn, it just didn't do much for me. It didn't do much for me. and it just kind of happened, kind of like Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio.
Ooh.
I mean,
Cody-
what were you expecting with this?
Brock
We talked
Lesnar
about
to
this
show
last
up?
night. You expected too much.
Well, isn't Cody feuding with Brock? Isn't that the main thing he's doing right now?
Brock don't come to the UK. Brock,
Why not?
Brock's in
Cena did.
Canada.
Cena did.
Yeah,
He
well,
loves
Cena's
him.
trying to promote stuff.
I guess he's trying to be super babyface for all the markets. But I don't know. Cody and Dominic was a nothing match. I was expecting it to be better. I mean, I shouldn't have because Dominic was in it, but it was.
Exactly.
Cody couldn't even carry him to anything special. It was weak. Rhea Ripley was just there. She did nothing. Not great.
Felt like a house show match.
Yeah. There was nothing special about that. Quite a dud.
I mean, it's exactly what I expected. Like, Dom is not a very good wrestler. He just plays off his character, and that's all he can do. Like, his running the ropes, his strikes are some of the worst in WWE. Cody made the best that he could with what he had to work with. You know, Dom's super over in the sense that everyone hates him, so we just play out the fact that he's a coward and runs away. And Rhea got the advantage for him for a little bit. And then, he just took it home because what's Dom going to do? Like an elaborate, back and forth sequence? That wasn't going to happen. Like, it's just cutter, finish, that's it. Like, that's as good as it's going to get.
Yep, and it wasn't very good, was it? So, pay-per-view loses points because of stuff like that. When you throw a match like that on pay-per-view and you don't have a plan to make it better, you know what I meant?
Hey, to Andy, he was there.
There you go, Andy. Shout out to Andy and his Hitting the Turnbuckle team.
How was the show, Andy?
They were at London. They were in they're in London right now. Andy's in our boy out in London.
They're at SmackDown and Money in the Bank.
Yeah, very cool. He's on his way home from Money in the Bank. Nice. But, when you throw Dominic and Cody on pay-per-view and you know that you've got 8 minutes of nothing and it's on pay-per-view and you've got that crowd, do something. Come up with something. Give us something. Because we got nothing. If going in, it is going to be what it is, you can spice it up with booking and make it more interesting. Because it was so flat. It was like, well, why are they even putting this on the show? It had no
Cody's
point.
entrance. Cody's entrance was fantastic. That was amazing. Just when he came out, they were singing his song so loud.
Yeah. So that's it, just for
That
the
was
song.
fantastic.
They came out for
that was
they
mainly
did the
it.
match for the song.
That's like diminishing returns for me, like big crowd response. I don't know if it's Judas or just like the crowd singing along to the song. It doesn't make me feel like a sense of like magic or anything. I'm just like, okay, they're singing.
Yeah. I really don't like the Seth Rollins singing either.
Oh, that
Like,
one.
Cody's is all right when they do the whoa. It's like, okay, cool. But Seth, it's just it goes on and on and on, and I just get annoyed. I'm like, are we done with this or what? So Cody was weak. The Seth match was weak. Just a lot of weak stuff on this show. The Gunther Matt Riddle match was short and kind of weak. Gunther attacked the ankle of Riddle. Riddle's had his ankle bandaged. He worked the ankle. He did a straight ankle lock to make him tap out in the end. Like, it was okay, but it felt like a SmackDown match or a Raw match that you would see kind of middle of the show. It wasn't even a Raw main event. It was like, it's 8:30. We got Gunther and Riddle for 6 minutes. How about that? And it was like, yeah, okay. And that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like their feud was over. Riddle lost, but he was injured going in because the Imperium guys attacked him before. Dud. Gunther wins, and then I guess it's done between Riddle and Gunther because Drew McIntyre showed up after the match, and Gunther pushed him, and then Drew knocked him down and hit the Claymore on Gunther, so I guess they're doing Drew versus Gunther going forward. I feel like we've been here before, but okay, we're going to go back. Wasn't Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus the WrestleMania match?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I haven't seen Drew since.
And now Drew's back. We thought Drew was maybe leaving WWE, but he's not. He's back. And he's feuding with Gunther. And I guess the crowd popped for Drew. He's from that part of the world. They like him. But, yeah, it didn't do much for me. And Gunther and Riddle was a bit of a disappointment. I think if it were given 5 to 10 more minutes, it could have been way better.
And maybe Randy.
And maybe Randy Orton making a surprise appearance to save.
We need Randy.
Because there were rumors that Randy was going to show up. Like, I was reading, like, oh, man, get ready. When Randy comes out, it's going to be nuts. I was like, Randy? I was seeing people say Randy was in the area. Randy was going to be there. Randy was going to return. So I thought Riddle would get beat down by Imperium after the match, and then Randy Orton would come out, and it would be something. But instead of Randy Orton coming out, it was Drew McIntyre, Scottish Randy, which is not as fun. I like American Randy, original Randy, not Scottish Randy.
All the different Randys.
Yeah, there's several different Randys. There was British Randy, Wade Barrett, who now does SmackDown.
Yeah.
There's Scottish Randy, Drew McIntyre. There's a variety of different Randys. There's the original Randy, who's the best version, but still not a great version of a wrestler. But, don't tell that to John.
Yeah, but Drew made sense in London, though. Great reaction when he came out. And to me, it helps set up the fact that that match is going to happen at SummerSlam. More than likely, Drew's winning the title. I mean, someone's finally got to beat him for the title.
Yeah.
Drew makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he's not a fun pick, though, is he? Because Drew winning the Intercontinental title means nothing. He won it when he was the future Drew McIntyre. Like, back to square one. It doesn't enhance him in any way. Oh, he's the guy that ends Gunther's thing. He's Intercontinental Champion. Big deal. Gunther as Intercontinental Champion has elevated the belt. If Drew takes it, it'll mean less. It'll mean less. Guaranteed.
Maybe, but Drew's lost so much in terms of like going for titles and big time matches that he's finally got to win something. So at least winning the Intercontinental title, that's going to be for something for him at least.
As long as it leads to Gunther moving up in the card. Drop the IC title.
Yeah,
like that's what it used to be, right? You were Intercontinental Champion, and then when you dropped it, it meant you were moving up to the main event level. You might be WWF Champion. Like maybe Gunther will be the next guy to take the belt from Seth. I'd love to see Gunther on top of Raw.
I'm shocked Andy didn't think the event was very good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a great event either. I'm down. I agree with Andy. And Andy, who was in attendance out in London, says only bad thing, event went on till nearly midnight. Loads of people had to leave before to get home. Like, it's too long. And London is a pretty busy city. I would assume the traffic and everything getting out of that arena must have been a nightmare. And yeah, it's late over there. The show was too long. It should have ended at 11 p.m. London time, 6 p.m. our time, but instead it ended at about 11:40, 11:45 London time, and that's too late. A lot of kids. I think Andy brought his kid to the show. I know a lot of the hitting the turnbuckle youth was there, so it was too long. But shout out to our boy Andy, who's coming back from Money in the Bank, and he says WrestleMania is coming to London. Well, if you didn't like how long the show was tonight, Andy, don't go to WrestleMania because it'll be far longer, and you'll be getting home at like 4 a.m. if you're lucky.
And I'll be at Wembley with like 80,000 people.
Yeah, good luck getting out of that building.
For 2 nights.
2 nights.
For 2 nights in a row.
Was that Thunder?
That's right, brother.
Yeah.
Jesus. What the?
Yeah. It's a big city, London.
He's also got All In, so he's going to have to, 5 in the morning for that.
Is he going to All In too?
Yeah.
Is that an afternoon show or a nighttime show?
It's for us afternoon, right?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because if they did it in London, like at nighttime for us, it would be middle of the night. It'd be crazy. So they're not doing that. He has tickets for All In. Good for Andy. Man, London wrestling fans are really getting treated to some nice stuff. Big AEW show, big WWE show, and John Cena says WrestleMania is coming to London. But are they really?
He said this before.
Yeah. Because Cena showed up, which was awesome. I didn't expect John Cena to show up, right? That was the biggest surprise of the night. Music hits. I'm like, oh, they're doing a commercial. And then, no, they cut to the arena, and there's John Cena coming out. I was like, what? Cena? What's he doing here? And it was pretty cool. It was really cool to see John Cena. And he says, it's been 20 years since WWE did a PLE, a Pro Live, what do they call it? Premium Live Event. Pro Live Evening. Cena says it's because
Sting did one of those.
It's not because of the fans, it's because the decision makers. They think you fans here are too boisterous and you try to take over the show, but you don't try to take over the show, you are the show.
Yeah, that's so lame.
Pandering Cena, classic
also,
Cena.
Also, saying the decision makers, like Vince McMahon. Just say
Triple
Vince.
H.
Triple H.
Yeah, but
Triple
like,
H too. Bruce Pritchard thinks London sucks.
yeah, you should name names. Like make it a bit more,
Michael
cool.
Hayes hates the food here. He doesn't want you to. Right?
I imagine.
So bad.
I can't eat the food here. Fish and chips is bullshit.
Yeah, chicken fried steak,
Yeah.
Frito pie.
Sloppy steaks. That's my favorite.
Oh,
you don't know about sloppy.
Wet sticks?
You know about that?
I think so.
You know about sloppy steaks?
I've heard about that.
That's I think you should leave. That's a sketch that I
pour
think
like
you should
water
leave.
on your steak, yeah.
Sloppy steaks. Ah! You got to watch I Think You Should Leave. If you like sloppy steaks, you love that show. A lot of wrestlers in that show this season. Eric Rowan, Dolph Ziggler's brother, Damian Sandow. A lot of wrestlers in I Think You Should Leave. That's an aside. John Cena talked about how London fans are the best and they're underappreciated and I respect you. And then the fans are like, thank you, Cena. We love you too. And it's like, yeah, well, you sucked up to them enough. They probably should like you. And then Cena's like, I'm here because I want to bring WrestleMania to London. And it's like, okay, but you have no say in the matter. Like, you could tell Triple H, oh, these fans here are really good. You should bring WrestleMania here. Triple H could be like, okay. Good idea, John. I mean, obviously, they sent him out there to babyface it up. But I don't know if they sent him out there with an actual concrete plan. I mean, they don't have plans for WrestleMania to go to London. I think that they could do WrestleMania in London, but nothing has been made official. Cena's like, we should do it here. It's like, cool. Maybe you should. Well, Grayson Waller came out and was like, no, London actually sucks. The weather's terrible. You should do it in Australia, where I'm from. And then all the English people are like, boo, boo. Even though really Australians are just criminal English people. I mean,
originally.
they're all the same. I have heard that the Australian accent is just a drunken English accent. Is that real? Those guys.
That was The Simpsons, was it not?
I don't know. Here's what those people in that part of the world don't. Oh, actually, it's a completely different part of the world, England and Australia. But to us, they're the same. How about
Commonwealth? Commonwealth.
No, I mean they all sound the same. Like
they say mate.
If you say mate, you're British. If you're Australian, if you're Scottish, if you're Irish, I mean the Irish really don't want to be called British, but to Canadians and Americans, we got to listen to you for a while to figure out where the hell you come from. Because when Grayson Wally comes out and he's like, hey, Australia, mate, and I'm like, aren't you British? I thought you were British, man. I don't know. Because honestly, those accents to us sound very similar. I know, like, English people and Australians, they're different, and if I listen to them for a little while, sure, but don't ever ask me to tell the difference between a New Zealander and Australian, because that's the same. That's the same
But don't
accent.
call a New Zealander an Australian.
No.
I mean, I've seen enough Flight of the Conchords.
It's like to a British person, a Canadian sounds pretty much like an American in a lot of ways, but we're different people, and we're from different countries, and we don't always appreciate being called the same, although no one really lumps us in with that.
I think Australians...
I'm just saying, I don't think those people in that part of the world understand that, like, most of us over here in North America are like, it's all British, isn't it?
I think there's a certain thing, though, Australians, like, I don't know if it's just, like, a media or a culture thing, but, like, Australians are often, like, looked down on, maybe, like, a bit more,
Of course.
rowdy. Like, I mean, it's a bit of a side. In Barry, when
Yeah.
he's, like, working at the Lululemon with, like, the British lady,
Yeah.
and he's doing an accent, and then he goes, why don't you do an Australian accent? She goes, I would never do an Australian accent. She's, like, English.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so there's,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, something there.
There's
like,
something
Brits
there.
and Australia, like, New
Well, it's
Zealand.
that Peep Show episode
Yeah.
where it's
Oh,
like
Saz.
Saz,
Yeah, she's Australian. It's
and he
weird.
goes, and Mark goes, they're Australian. They think it's all fine.
Yeah.
Right? There's
There's
something
something
there.
there.
The British and the Australians have a thing, but us in Canada don't get it because we don't give a shit. We don't even know those guys are different. We hear, hey, mate, and we're like, same.
It's probably how, like, maybe
We don't
other
say
Canadians
mate.
see Quebecers. Like,
Yeah.
we're part of the same thing, but, like, we see ourselves, like, maybe they think they're
No.
better than us or
Other
something.
Canadians see Quebecers as all speaking French, and if you go outside of Canada, you start speaking English, people are like, how come you speak English? Aren't you from Montreal? And it's like, yeah, well, yeah. It's when you're
wonder.
not from a place, you don't understand a lot of things about the place. But Grayson Waller coming
That's
out and being like, Australia's better than England, mate. I was like, you all say mate. It's all the same, bro. But it's not the same.
Drink
It's
some
obviously
tea,
not the
round
same.
bacon.
I'm just joking around. But, like, I wonder if those people in England realize, like, most Americans can't tell the difference. Most Canadians have no idea the accents. You know what I'm saying, John? Like, I thought Pretty Deadly, I thought they were Australian until, like, 3 days ago when I
they're
found
not?
out. No, they're British. See?
They said it was their
Australian.
hometown.
Yeah, I know.
They said it though.
They said it,
Oh.
and that's the only reason I know, because yesterday or on SmackDown yesterday or maybe last week when they talked about it, they're like, oh, we're English. But I found out when they were on the Grayson Wally Experience thing on SmackDown a couple weeks ago where Waller's like, Australia, and then they were like, England is good, and I was like, oh, I thought you were all Australian. See, this is what I'm saying. If you only hear them talk for like a little bit and you hear a little bit like they don't pronounce the R's, you know what I'm saying? And then they say mate, it's like, well,
Yeah.
if you don't have a hard R, you got the soft R. If you say aw, you know what I mean? If you pronounce a soft R and you say mate, it's hard for us to tell the difference, dude. If you don't say dude and you say mate, super chat. Antoinette dropping a super chat. Says the crowd was awesome. Guess we will see Roman's kid sitting at the head of Jey Uso's table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Heyman said that.
The crowd was awesome, though. And, yeah, the British wrestling fans are awesome. Australian wrestling fans, no, they're also good. They're also good. But the British wrestling fans, so loud, great chants. You know, it's like a soccer game. Those guys know how to do it. Those guys know how to be sports fans. And they were the star of the show, and Cena was giving them their props, and Grayson Waller came out and said they sucked, and Cena sucks, and he wants to wrestle Cena at WrestleMania in Australia, a real good country, and Cena's like, no. And then Waller kind of hit Cena a couple times and dropped him, and then Cena got up and hit the attitude adjustment. It took too long to get to the point. Like, they let Grayson Waller talk for way too long before Cena finally hit the thing. But, I mean, it was cool to see John Cena come out. And I would love to see WrestleMania go to London. A, because I think the crowd would really elevate the show. And B, because when WrestleMania happens, it's like a 5 to 6 hour show. And it ends at, midnight or 1 a.m. our time. And I would much prefer it be in the afternoon so it could end at like 6 or 7 p.m. Like, afternoon WrestleManias. Early April, afternoon, WrestleMania, do a barbecue, watch a Mania. That's a good time. Back in the day, WrestleManias used to be on in the afternoon.
So did the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be an afternoon type of thing, and I don't hate that idea. And if you did 1 year where they did 2 nights in the afternoon, or even one night, I mean, you could flip it back to one night WrestleMania, and I don't think a lot of people would complain. The money, obviously, you fill in the stadium 2 nights, you're going to cash in. But I would prefer a one-night WrestleMania because then we only have to watch one night of WrestleMania. One night, 4 hours max. Yeah, I know. You're saying it's going to be 8 hours if it's one night. I get it. We've been there before, John. Yeah. We've done a lot of shows together. I know what you're going to say half the time before you even say it. But what I'm trying to tell you is one night, 4 hours, perfect. Cut the fat. Don't let everybody get a shot at WrestleMania. It's not a participation trophy. It's a goddamn pinnacle of the business. It's a showcase of the immortals, not showcase of the jobbers.
Well said, but I question if we're going that direction because John Cena's cut the exact same promo before, like on Raw, almost like 10 years ago.
About London getting WrestleMania?
Yeah.
And then like Wade Barrett to interrupt him or something. Regal.
Cena is the king.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Cena is the king of cutting promos that the crowd is like, yeah! And then that shit never happens. Yeah. Like, remember when he's like, this guy Cesaro in Germany, he's like, this guy, he's a future world champion, he's going to be... And it never really came to fruition. And he's
Saudi
in
Arabia
London tonight. Saudi Arabia is the best! One China, right? Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Taiwan is not a country. There's one China. I don't know. Sorry, China.
My fluent Mandarin.
Yeah, he fucking tucked his tail between his legs pretty hard there.
Well, he had to.
That's what. Yeah, he had to out of fear.
Those movies, those action movies, only make money in China.
Yeah, but telling the London fans that WrestleMania is coming to London, I think, is raising their hopes when it may happen, but. If it happens, it's not because of John Cena. Yeah. And if it does happen, I don't know if it happens for, another 3 to 5 years. I don't think WrestleMania 41 is going to be in London. Because 40's in Philly. Where's 41 going to be? You think London?
I feel like they
Vegas?
planned it somewhere else already, yeah.
Didn't they say Vegas?
Probably New Orleans.
Possibly. Yeah, I think it was either Vegas or, New Orleans, yeah.
Oh, really? They actually are going back to New Orleans?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, really? Wow.
Oh, they got a big indoor stadium now, so I guess it's for the weather they can handle it.
Apparently, Minneapolis is a finalist to host WrestleMania 41 in 2025. 2024 WrestleMania 40 is going to be in Philadelphia. So,
Tickets on sale soon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the closest you could get. Oh. Okay. WrestleMania's 43 is going to Nashville
Oh.
What?
in 2026, I guess. 2027.
Oh, Nashville? They have a...
Hold on. That's WrestleMania 43 in 2027. They don't have a location for 42 in 2026. Right? So 2024,
Okay.
so 40's in Philly, 41's in Minneapolis, and 42, we don't have a date yet, or we don't have a location. So maybe London for 42 in 2026, but 43 apparently is going to a new stadium in Nashville in 2027. So what I'm saying is they book these things in advance. So Cena's saying WrestleMania is coming to London, maybe, but maybe not till 2028. So cool,
Yikes.
but you might have to wait 5 years.
Maybe.
Sorry,
Well,
London. Don't think it's
as I
coming
told
next.
you.
Like next WrestleMania will not be in London. It will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States.
And people have been waiting almost 10 years because Cena's been cutting that same promo for almost 10 years now when he's gone to London. So people have been waiting a very long time. So
Yep.
might have to wait some more.
If people wanted just a pay-per-view in London, I mean, this is kind of a big deal that they got an actual pay-per-view.
Hey, they did a big show in Wales, right? The Clash at the Castle. They've done Money in the Bank in London. They're expanding. We're seeing a lot of WWE pay-per-views in the afternoon, right? The last pay-per-view was in Saudi in the afternoon. They're doing this London show in the afternoon. They're expanding where they're going. They went to Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? They went to Montreal for a pay-per-view. They've done some cool international locations, and it seems like there's a push to go more international. Great. But it's not happening anytime soon. Although WrestleMania 42 is still like a date up in the air, right? So the 2026 WrestleMania could be in London because I don't think they have it penciled in. We know, right? 40 Philly, 41 Minneapolis, 43 Nashville, and Christopsky's like, why Nashville? They have a new stadium that they're building. So WWE likes to be maybe the first big event at a new stadium. Don't be surprised if the Super Bowl goes to Nashville. Nashville's kind of a hop-in town. It's people like Nashville. People
the
like
weather's
to
nice enough.
weather is good. They got a lot of sports fans. They got a hockey team. They're in a running, I think, for a baseball team at some point when MLB expands. I think Nashville's one of the front runners.
Good point.
So Nashville is Music City, USA.
Low taxes, for those kinds of people, for promoters and stuff. You'll get tax breaks and stuff.
That's it. Like Nashville.
Kane is a mayor there.
Oh.
Yeah, well, not Nashville, but in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
So, Nashville makes sense, especially with a new football stadium that they're building.
might be governor of Tennessee.
Yes, that
He
will
could be. He could be.
That will be a big deal, and I understand why they're going there. But WrestleMania 42, still kind of unknown. So if London is hoping, I would say WrestleMania 42. I, as a resident of Montreal, know that we will never, ever, ever host WrestleMania
Ever.
in my home city. Never, ever. It will never happen. Don't even think about it. Sometimes people ask me, and I go, ha, 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 where would you host it? And they say, Olympic Stadium. And I say, ha, 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 you must be joking, sir. Good day.
In March. Or in March, April, Olympic
Yes,
Stadium.
Olympic
Not
Stadium.
just Olympic Stadium.
Early April.
With snow,
where
possible.
there's snow on the roof. And you can't do anything if there's snow on the roof because the roof may collapse from the weight of the snow, which isn't good for WrestleMania. Also, like I said, WWE likes to run new, nice stadiums, not shit old stadiums that were built in the fucking 60s.
Like even the Rogers Center Skydome might be too old for them now.
Imagine doing a wrestling show at a stadium that was built in the 1960s. It's absurd.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if you've presented that idea to the WWE, they'd be like, the stadium was built when?
Yeah.
1960 what?
Arena's one thing, like MSG or something.
Even then, MSG, like, it gets renovated, and, you know, it's nice.
Yeah.
They're going to be at MSG on Friday for SmackDown, by the way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love when they're at the Garden.
SmackDown at the Garden on Friday? Hell yeah. So, yeah, Toronto, never. Montreal, never. Toronto,
maybe.
Yeah, Montreal will never get WrestleMania. Toronto might get it again.
Maybe.
Because they keep, you know, at least they have the Blue Jays in the Sky Dome or the Rogers or Center or whatever the hell. Sky Dome again?
No,
Didn't
it's Rogers Center. It's Rogers Center.
Yeah.
But it's still
Rogers,
Skydome.
yeah.
I mean, the arena is still the ACC to me. I don't know what it's called
the
now.
Scotiabank Arena.
Right. It's the ACC and the Sky Dome forever to me. But, you know, They upgrade the Sky Dome. Like I saw the renovations that they did for the Sky Dome on a Yankees broadcast, and it seemed kind of nice. You know, like the Sky Dome doesn't look horrible. So yeah, they could do another Toronto WrestleMania at the Sky Dome. They've done 2 so far. I wouldn't be surprised for them to do another one, although the building is pretty old. You know, like even the Sky Dome, I'm like, maybe not.
You know,
I wouldn't hold my breath. I really wouldn't, because they like to do these new state-of-the-art super stadiums, like the one in Vegas and the one in LA and the one they're building in Nashville. Like, that's what they like to do for their WrestleManias, because it looks nice and the facilities are great and it's easy to stage a show there. Let's not forget, like, the set is massive. You have to have room for the trucks and everything, and some of these old stadiums are not built and not designed to accommodate some of these larger sets and larger kind of productions.
Or even like a staple of Mania the last like 10 years is like at big moments, they just have pyro like outside the arena, like always going off. Like maybe the Skydome isn't equipped for that.
No, I don't think you could.
To like build the pyro things on the top.
Well, in downtown Toronto, it would be tough to pull off.
Yeah.
Too, just because of all the buildings around.
All the smoke, it could be tricky.
Yep.
Again, April.
Yeah. I mean, they've done it before, though.
Yeah.
They've done it before. I think to Toronto, you know, if like Kristaps is saying, if WrestleMania comes to Canada again, it'll be in Toronto, but I don't think it's going to be in Toronto anytime soon. I'd say London probably has a better chance of Toronto right now. And again, Montreal never, ever, ever, ever will never host a big, giant event like SummerSlam or the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania because we don't have a stadium for it. And we never will.
Would have been nice to have a Rumble in the arena at the Bell Center. Would have been nice. But now Rumble's a baseball stadium show.
Rumbles are stadium shows now.
It's crazy.
God, I would love to do, like, if they could pull off SummerSlam at Yankee Stadium, I would fucking, oh my God.
They'd probably do it at Citi Field.
That'd be so weak, though. Dude, imagine SummerSlam at Yankee Stadium, how fucking sick that would be. It would be really tough to do in August.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and don't fuck up the field. You know what I mean? Don't fuck up the field.
Yeah, that's true. The fields.
They fuck up the field. Fucking Gleyber Torres
fans on the
hurt.
field. Yeah.
It could be bad, but if they do it, I'm going. You know what I mean? Like, if they do it, I'd have to go. It'd be so sick. Like a WrestleMania or something at a Yankee Stadium, because they're doing those baseball stadiums now for some of those shows, but mostly for the Rumble, and they're doing it in warm states, and it's indoor baseball stadiums.
It'd probably be at MetLife Stadium if they did SummerSlam in New York.
Yeah.
Which is in Jersey.
Well, they did MetLife for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Jersey, and like apparently it's a nightmare to get out of.
Yeah. But, dude, Yankee Stadium would be so sick.
Yeah.
Open air WrestleMania in the Bronx. Oh, baby. I just want to go to Yankee Stadium. I don't really care what it's for.
Wrestlers come out of Monument Park, you know.
Sick. But they're never going to do it.
Aaron Judge is there, you know.
Hey, we're going to get SmackDown at the Garden on Friday. That's good enough. So that's it. We are good. We are, I think, done. Io Sky wins women's Money in the Bank. Damian Priest wins the men's. Liv and Raquel, new tag team champions. John Cena wants WrestleMania to come to London. Maybe he'll work a match with Grayson Waller down the road. Probably not, though. I think that was it for Grayson and Cena. And Drew McIntyre made his big return. That was WWE's Money in the Bank.
One thing I like that Grayson Waller said, he's like, you know, you lost to Austin Theory. And then I piped in, and I'm the new Austin Theory.
Yeah, he is the new Austin Theory.
Not
Where's
skinnier,
Austin
though.
Theory? He wasn't even on the show.
He was on SmackDown last night. He defended his title against Sheamus, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Sheamus?
No,
Ridge.
Rich Holland. It was a champions contenders match.
Yes.
All right.
But Theory won, didn't he?
He did, and he'll defend against Sheamus next week, the title.
So how was it a contenders match?
So Ridge doesn't get the title shot.
Oh, but Sheamus does? For no
Yeah.
reason?
That's right, Paul.
You know what I mean?
Because
He's Sheamus.
Yeah.
Cool. So that'll be on SmackDown Friday night at the Garden. I could see Sheamus winning the title.
That'd be nice. I don't know if he's going to win, but it'd be nice.
Theory's held it for a while. Isn't this Sheamus' second shot at it? Usually when they throw him at it again, it's like, well, we're trying to get him there.
Sometimes, but I don't know. Braun and Bruce don't win them much, so hard to believe in them.
Yeah. But it's at the Garden, and they usually do big stuff at the Garden, so we'll see. We'll see what they do on SmackDown. We'll be back after SmackDown Friday night for more Wrestling Uncensored. I'll be back Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. And we'll be previewing UFC 290. Oh, we got another UFC
Nice.
pay-per-view going down next weekend, so we'll be previewing the fights coming up Thursday night, and then we'll do a watch-along next Saturday night for UFC 290 as July rolls on. Hey, happy Canada Day, by the way.
Oh,
A lot of Canada talk. We didn't even mention it's the holiday of the day, Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to everybody. And, yeah, we all live in Canada. Well, some of us do. Some of us do not. Andy doesn't. He lives in England. He was at Money in the Bank. So shout out to Andy and his podcast, Hitting the Turnbuckle. They're doing big stuff, so congratulations to him and all his success. Thank you to Antoinette. You are the Super Chat leader of the show. Appreciate you, Antoinette, and all the members checking in. Antoinette, Matthew Henley. Sorry we couldn't get you on the show, Matthew. I don't know what happened. Ray Cruz, Antoinette, Matthew Henley, Angelo Contagonis. I saw you in the chat, my friend. Who else did I see? A lot of the members. A lot of members checking in, which I like. Derek John was right on his two Money in the Bank winners, right? He's a member of the team. He predicted
picks.
Damian Priest and Io Sky last night, and he was right on both. Good for him. Good for him. So thank you for checking in to our show here this afternoon, and we'll be back real soon, as we always are, covering all the wrestling on after every WWE and every AEW pay-per-view right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.